Welcome back, everyone, to 31 Days of Halloween on the Calvin Cam podcast, the podcast where we talk about everything spooky and chilling. I'm Calvin.
And I'm Anthony. And today we have another chilling episode. We have Child's Play, so let's get into it.
Okay, everybody, we are back today again. We are on day 7. We are going to be talking about one of the most iconic horror characters of all time, Chucky, mainly Child's Play.
Child's Play, the original Child's Play. This movie was an all-time classic.
It is.
Made Chucky basically an iconic character.
He is one of the biggest iconic characters in horror, up there with Mike Myers, Freddy, etc. Like I always think of Chucky along the lines of the group of those kind of characters.
Ghostface, all those iconic,
because it is kind of like these movies are like slasher movies. I mean, more or less, like with a bit of like possession, I guess. It's not really possession. It's just
more like voodoo.
Yeah, it's voodoo. This basic plot is that a criminal is being chased down by the cops, and then he ends up being somebody who dabbled in the arts of voodoo and transfers his soul into a good guy doll.
He transforms the soul into a vessel, which is the doll.
Yeah. And then, upon discovering that he's starting to turn human, he has to then transfer his soul into the first living person that he made a connection with, or who he revealed his true self to, which was Andy, the boy from the movie.
Child's Play was a slasher film in 1988. It was directed by Tom Holland. Tom Holland's also the director that did Fright Night. So we have that. The screenplay is by Don Mancini and John Lafia. This is the first installment with the first film. It stars Catherine Hicks, Chris Sarandon, and Brad Dourif. This movie, it's great.
It's a great movie, and it holds up really well, actually. Just rewatched it again, obviously, for the 31 Days of Halloween, and I really enjoyed this movie a lot more than I originally used to. Like, these were movies I would throw on and just watch here and there. Watching it this time, for whatever reason, really stuck with me, and I was like, wow, like, this movie holds up really well. It's got great pacing, and it's pretty good suspense, I'd say, through the whole movie, too. You kind of get the introduction of Chucky a bit early, which is nice. Yeah. You're not like left just waiting for him to actually like show his true self. And I really like that about this.
And even the shots when Chucky moves around the room, you'll have a first person shot, like when he's running down the hallway, and then a third person shot where the camera pans like this. It's really, really cool the way it's shot. That in the opening sequence when his auntie's taking care of him while she's working late. Those shots are really portrayed really well.
I really enjoy the movie a lot, and then just some of the way that they made Chucky so alive in the movie, I really respect too. Just because like that had to been kind of hard to do in 1988. Just given the fact that like I'm sure they had to upscale like certain props like beds and dressers and stuff and make them appear bigger than they actually seem, because I'm pretty sure they had like a person dressed up as Chucky running around. So that had to have been kind of like a challenge to do on the production side of things, but they pulled it off so well.
And this movie did really well in the box office, actually. It grossed $44 million with a budget of $9 million. So that was pretty good.
That's awesome.
This movie also has several sequels. It has Child's Play 2, Child's Play 3, The Bride of Chucky, The Seed of Chucky, The Curse of Chucky, The Cult of Chucky, and a television series, Chucky.
Which is currently still going on. I think it's in its 3rd season now. So, which I've heard kind of mixed things about. And this also spawned a Child's Play remake. That came out a few years ago, which wasn't all that good. However, props to my man Mark Hamill for playing the voice of Chucky in it. So,
he did play the voice of it. Totally forgot.
I love that for that reason. But the original Chucky, you can't beat the voice actor or the actor who plays him. I just think that his voice is one of those things that's so iconic about the character. Like, I remember back in the day watching these movies when I was a little bit younger, and I really liked just the eeriness that Chucky the doll like brings to him, especially like towards the later sequels with Bride of Chucky. I think that's my most memorable Chucky movie, but it's just because it came out when I was like old enough to start watching these films. But
I only got to Child's Play 2. I'd have to go back and rewatch the rest. Man. Yeah, there's so many. I didn't realize there were so many Chucky films, and that shows that this character is super iconic for, like I said, the genre. It's awesome.
Yeah, so likable. I ended up actually watching Child's Play 2 immediately after I watched the first one because I was just like, okay, I really enjoyed this movie. This was a great watch. So watching Child's Play 2, I even was like, wow, this is solid too. This is like almost just as good, if not better than the first movie, because like all the stakes are raised. Chucky's already like a set in stone thing, a set in stone character, and you kind of get the aftermath and traumatization that Andy's going through.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
Yeah. I mean, after the first film, you feel like you're invested after this. Like you want to say, maybe I should bedazzle and watch the rest of them.
Yeah. And one of the, another thing that I really thought was hilarious about this movie is actually the humor in it is really good. It's pretty funny throughout the whole thing. Even like Chucky himself as a character, he is really funny.
Yeah.
I found a lot of his lines delivered really hysterically. So I was kind of laughing because he was just like so menacing for such a little like doll.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Alex Vincent, the kid that played Andy Barclay, his acting was really good in the movie, I thought, when he was portraying him, when he was having his conversations with Chucky and his mom's like, stop lying. And that, he just showed so emotion with it. He's like, Chucky, tell everybody. And he was like slamming the Chucky against the wall, the doll, and the police station and stuff like that. He did a really good job as a child actor.
Yeah. Oh, I thought he did fantastic. I thought it was really good. And I think that also the mom, the actress who plays the mom,
Catherine Hicks,
she was amazing.
Yeah, her acting was really good.
She was fantastic the whole time. I was just like, how do I know her? How do I know her? And then it took me like a minute to realize like who she was and just some of the movies that I've seen her in. So,
and Chris Sarandon he did a good job as Detective Mike Norris in this movie too. His acting was really good.
Yeah. I mean, Chucky is so solid. This was a great watch. If I were to rate this film, I would give it a 4. I really liked it a lot.
It's a 4 for sure.
Yeah.
For me, that being the story, the pacing, even the animatronics of Chucky and the practical effects of when he was burned in the final scene.
Just all of his mannerisms and his facial expressions.
Yeah, they did a really good job with it. I mean, showing that and portraying that on screen. So that would be one of the reasons why I would say this is a 4 out of 5.
And he's just like, just some parts where he's like chasing after them or like jumping on them. His face is so funny, dude. He's like, ah.
Yeah, it's really, really, really well portrayed. And I forgot to mention, also the reason why I would keep that 4-star rating is because he's so iconic. He's so iconic to horror, just fandom overall. Like there's fans of Chucky, and you can see it with all the sequels.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. You got some fun facts?
I got some fun facts. The original working title was a film called Batteries Not Included, which is a Steven Spielberg movie. Mm-hmm. Then the title was changed to Bloody Buddy, and then before they settled on Chucky. So I think that was pretty funny. One of the inspirations for the Good Guys interactive doll was Corky, the voice of Ed Gross, which was used as Chucky as a normal voice.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play?
Yeah. Ed Gale was hired to play Chucky for the fire scene. Since it was around 30%, he was 30% taller than the doll. The filmmakers had to create a living room stage that was 30% bigger than the actual set to set him on fire.
What did I say? What did I say? Like totally like looked like it. So
this is a cool one because there's some pretty good names in this one. John Lithgow, Gary Oldman, Andrew Divoff were rumored to consider to play the role of Charles Lee Ray at the voice of Chucky. Imagine if we would have gotten Gary Oldman or John Lithgow. That would have been kind of crazy.
That's interesting. I mean, I'm really happy with the choices that they made.
They did awesome with that. Also, the toy store. There's some cool stuff in the toy store. If you look closely at the shelves of the toy store in the beginning of the movie, you'll see toys from the 80s. Like you'll see She-Ra. Okay. You'll see the Ecto-1 if you look closely, and Barbie and the Rockers. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I noticed the Barbie and the Rockers, but I didn't kind of see the Ecto-1 or She-Ra. Ghetto Boys sampled various lines from their 1991 song Chuckily. Ghetto Boys rapper Bushwick Bill used a Chucky doll on stage when he performed in the early 1990s, including an appearance on Yo! MTV Raps in 1987. So you can see how this iconic character like influenced people like rappers. Like Ghetto Boys is like huge in the early and late 90s. So the staircase scene is filmed is a film nod to Running Scared with Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. A good movie. I haven't seen it in a long time, but
now that I like look at thinking about at the scene, like that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Those are, unless we can find some more, those are I have a short amount of facts. Sorry.
Hey, no,
sorry,
that's
audience,
fine.
this time.
I thought that was good.
That's all we have in terms of fun facts.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode with Child's Play. I highly recommend this movie. This is a great movie to watch around this time of year. So you should definitely go and watch it, especially if you haven't seen it. I think that it's pretty worth the watch. So
yeah, you've got all these sequels too. Yeah. And as Calvin reiterated, his Child's Play 2 is solid. I need to go back and watch it and get invested in all the films in the franchise.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you all so much for watching the Calvin Cam podcast. You can find us on any social media platforms like Instagram or Twitter. Go check our podcast out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music. We also have YouTube channel, the Calvin Cam. Go over there, hit that like and subscribe button, and follow us there, as well as you can now really support us on Patreon.com. It's probably the best place to support us. So you can go there, join one of our 3 tiers, and help us get bigger and better, and we will appreciate you every step of the way. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night.